Like Mama's cup of tea. Okay, yeah, okay. Should I do a cup of tea or not? Okay, well I'll turn the screen away. Okay. And Olivia's going to help you get ready and okay, we'll have a cup of tea. Yeah, it is actually. Sure, man.
Actually, I'll put the kettle on.
Oh, okay, well you can do it then.
Then I want to listen to the last real praying.
Okay. Okay, you're in control. You can do tea and toast and everything.
What's up?
Nothing. Just putting your clothes away. Yeah, well, it's.
What do you get?
Yeah, not really. Clothes, thing away. Olivia's doing your breakfast. Oh. Tea and toast. I don't think. Maybe do your porridge tomorrow, yeah? So you can have your oats. You like that, yeah?
what should I do? And that was from Henry in Stockport. And Henry in Stockport, that will resonate with all of us that were teenagers once and had to make really difficult decisions. I think, your mum is right. And you don't want to lose her, of course you don't. And you've been together for 2 years. Your girlfriend was only 15 and you were only 17 when you started seeing each other. You're so young, Henry, and life will change so much for you from here on in. And I know it's hard for your girlfriend, but I don't think you should spoil Christmas, Henry. I think
So
have a lovely Christmas.
just shut the door.
You the first one then.
I always have.
Coffee, Mum. How are you all? Sleep all right? Drink a coffee.
Grand. We still got to find Mum's black baby.
I found it.
Oh, where was it?
I found it, but I must have put it on top of the wardrobe.
Did you do that? Oh, she stole it.
I saw it.
She must be jealous.
In that baby. She's got it. She's got it there. She must have just got distracted and put it on.
Oh, she stole it. She kidnapped it.
Missing since earlier in the week.
You're going to call the police.
Yeah.
Mm.
Are you alright, yeah?
Not really, no. Hello, Maria.
Hello, dear. Am I the first one?
You are.
Yeah. Do you want to share my cup of coffee?
I'd love to. If you put some gin in it, some brandy in it, I'll definitely have some.
You look tired. Are you all right?
No, I'm not tired. No, I'm fine. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello, Rania. No, tired. No, I'm fine. Is that better? Hello, Shabbat Shalom, Rania. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom, Kevin.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Everyone. Maria, good morning.
Hello, darling. Bonjour, bonjour.
Ça va bien?
Au revoir.
Bonjour et au revoir.
This
No,
is when
bonjour.
Hannah does somersaults.
We are all with our cup of teas.
My cup of coffee. I haven't. I've already had a
Fizzy
cup
water.
of
I can't hear you. You're frozen.
Nice too, yeah. You've got a lovely haircut, Maria.
Oh yes, thank you. Yes, it's it was very long, so it's now nice and short. Yes, thank you.
Good. You've done it a good time because I bet you soon won't be able to again. So.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
So I'm having mine done on Monday, and then and then I think in the new year you never know, we might not be able to, but
well, for the time being, the hairdressers are still operating, but we don't
but
know.
I think they're thinking of a new.
No, don't.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
We never know.
Make the most of what you can do when you can.
You can, yeah.
Kevin, it keeps freezing.
We'll turn the heater on.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
I saw you.
Hello, everybody. Shabbat shalom.
Hello, Hannah. Shabbat shalom.
Nice to see you.
You stop freezing.
Well, I don't know what to do when it happens apart from wait for it to unfreeze.
Take it out the freezer.
How about putting the central heating on? It may help.
Yeah.
I have actually got the central heating on.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Yes. Some people have got everything. Yes. Central heating.
Yes, thank goodness for.
And the cat on your lap. That's a good thing as well.
When I went to your place the other day to collect something, Hannah, your cat was on the settee, And when I looked through the window, and she said, "Oh, she does keep her winter coat in a funny place." Honestly, it was on the top, on the back of the settee, the top there.
Yeah,
And then I
much
said,
better
"Oh,
than
it's him," because I had seen him before, but it's the way he was spread over the top of the
Yes, she
sofa.
likes lying on the top of the settees.
Yeah, I
I
know.
find that actually cats are much better than hot water bottles because they never cool down and they don't leak.
They don't leave.
Don't be so sure, Hannah.
No,
I
don't.
am sure I've had them for 10 years.
Wait until old age creeps in. Yes.
Wait, Hannah, wait till you get an incontinent cat, then they do leak.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
Which continent are they from?
Yeah. Adrian, you're taking the. Well, I can't use that word, but you know.
Yes, I was rather.
Yeah.
No, you can't use that word.
The service this morning. Who is taking the service?
Oh, it's Gwendolyn today. I always get nervous at this stage is when the service taker doesn't turn up.
No,
Well,
it's
what I
all
want
right.
to know,
It's all
if
good.
she,
Oh,
Kevin,
nervous.
Kevin, if she doesn't turn up, will she have gone for a Burton?
Oh, very good.
Oh.
Morning,
Well, she
Shabbat
has
Shalom.
already gone for a person years ago, I think.
Also, you've got to remember when we make these throwaway comments, you can get away with it for this crowd, but there's quite often people on live streaming and you don't know who they are. So,
Kevin, we just to let you know, I haven't mentioned it yet. You remember a few weeks ago, you turned over the hosting to me, and we had a meeting, an executive meeting.
oh yeah,
afterwards.
that's right.
I hadn't realised you hadn't turned off.
Yeah,
the
I know.
live streaming.
But it was mentioned.
Can I suggest in future, if ever you do turn it over to anybody else at the end of a service for a private meeting?
I will remember. Or as the host, you could do it as well. But
but I hadn't. I just assumed, and I didn't.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, towards the end of the meeting, I went,
just completely
"Oh my God!"
I'll be honest with you. It's kind of really because as much as I enjoy doing these service, once it's finished, I kind of just want to chill out, and I keep forgetting that there's other things.
Yeah, it's easily done.
If anyone, I don't know what the meeting was about, but if there's anything confidential, that could have been a bit worrying.
Salary.
We got Rose, got Linda.
Yeah, we're giving you a salary bump, Kevin.
Yeah, you're going to double my salary.
We're going to double it.
Yeah, what's 2 times 0?
0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Linda, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Good to see you, Linda. A regular now. The problem when you become regular, if you don't turn up, people are going to wonder what's wrong with you.
Well, yes, you're dead. Yeah. Does anybody know how Harold Sanderson is?
Not sure. Well, hopefully Stephen will join us.
Hopefully.
Yeah, Harold. I spoke to Stephen a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Harold is home. He's having to take 12 pills twice a day.
Oh,
so he's not a happy bunny. But he's doing well. He's doing well.
Good. Thank you. Because I was going to email Stephen, but he has enough things to do. So now I know. Hello. Hello, Linda. Oh, a nice view of your belt.
Hi. Kevin.
Good job it's not further down anyway.
Paper.
Hello,
Hello.
Alan. Loud and clear.
Who's that, Hannah? Hello. Good morning. How was Hastings?
Morning, Alan. Morning, Alan.
Morning, everybody. How was your trip to Hastings, Hannah?
Your voice is a bit muffled.
No,
it's not. Not to me.
Well, it sounds. I heard you say, "How is your?" and I don't quite know what else.
Sorry, let me try again. I sorted this out yesterday with Mark Phillips, or thought I had, because I've had problems on my audio. Is that any better? Can you hear me now, Hannah?
I can hear you, but it's not clear. It's somehow not clear.
I can see Pat shaking her head. Pat, you're muted. But it's still bad, Pat, is it?
Yeah, it's not home.
Not quite muffled.
It's muffled. So I don't
No,
know whether-
I can hear all right.
I did a one-to-one yesterday afternoon with Mark Phillips.
Maybe talk closer into the microphone, Alan.
No, well, Mark said I should be further away. I'm about 2 feet away.
Try and going a little bit further away. Or both.
Right, I'm going back. How's it? Is that any better? Can you hear me now? Is that clearer?
I can hear you all the time. I can hear you all the time.
Oh, right. It's not.
It's not clear. You can hear, but it's not clear, Alan.
I can hear you. It's just you're not.
I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
I can hear you. I think I could just about hear you, Alan. The most important person says Gwendolyn. When you turn up Gwendolyn, Shabbat Shalom, when you turn 2 minutes before the service is due to start, I always get this panic. I'm planning on. I was thinking, oh, who's going to take
Janet.
Morning. I was in a bit of a panic too. I didn't think I could get in.
Oh gosh, I know how it is. It's like at those moments. And then it would have been me. It would have been me, probably have me, Adrian, and Lindsay and Hannah taking the service, and everyone would be panicking.
If I thought I was just about to start again, and suddenly you all popped up.
That must be a frightening thought.
The service taker.
Sorry?
It's always good to see the service taker appear on the
Yes, it
screen.
is, yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
Barbara Dean. Does anyone know? We've got Barbara Dean in the waiting room. Any idea who she is?
Oh, stranger in the land.
That name does ring a bell. Why don't you let her in and see?
No,
who
well,
she is?
I'm just wondering. I don't mind. She might be from Reform. I don't mind. She's...
Probably Reform.
Hello, Barbara. Welcome.
Oh, I think I know Barbara.
I think she's from Birmingham because I've been in contact with her.
Oh,
and she said she loves your services, Gwendolyn.
Oh, lovely.
Checking to see if it's the same lady.
Yes, no, it is. I recognise her.
It's the same lady. It is me. Yes.
You good. Welcome.
Hello, Barbara. This is Lindsay.
Oh, hello, Lindsay. You're the
Hello.
lady who emailed me, aren't you? Lindsay?
Yes, I was looking for it in my sent messages and I couldn't find it, so I didn't know if it had gone through.
Yes, it came through. Thank you.
Good.
Kevin, which service are we
Hi,
on
George.
today?
How's George? You okay?
Service today?
No, I'm sure Gwendolyn will announce.
Well, she was asking you, wasn't she?
Yeah. It's up to you, Gwendolyn. Whatever, we kind of a little bit out of sync. I think we're on technically we're on service 4, but it's your choice, Gwendolyn. I think these days, because of all the different kind of services, we're not actually in line. Is there any screen shares you want, or are you happy, Gwendolyn, to...
Can you screen share the PowerPoint I sent you?
Okay, well, I'll do that. That's fine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make you the co-host purely just as reserved, Gwendolyn. You don't have to do anything, but...
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Can I just say Shabbat Shalom to everybody, and especially to Dario?
Oh, Dario, wow.
Thank you very much, Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat
He's
Shalom.
been coming the past 2 or
Good.
3 weeks, actually.
Yes,
I don't know
good.
where he is.
Another regular.
Lovely to see you both.
Kevin, I know that Rosemary is going to read the Haftarah.
Yes.
Have we allocated any other honours?
Well, what I'd like to invite Linda, because I'm not sure you're at site. So maybe you'd want to do the blessings before the Torah service, Linda, or any other preferences? Okay, we've got Linda doing the blessings before and after.
The Torah blessings.
Yes.
Linda, would you also like to read the Torah reading in English for us?
Linda?
Yeah, okay. Have you got a screen share for that?
Yeah,
Yes.
what I'll do, I'll try to do it on the screen share. But Brendan,
Have you got a screen?
Yeah, I'm going to set up.
I'm here, I can hear. Can you?
Yeah, sure. You could do it in Hebrew as well if you want, Linda, without vowels. And you can name it for us.
I'll see if I've got.
I was planning to do that actually.
No,
Listen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Lindsay has an important thing to say.
Well, I don't know how important it is, but Mary, you weren't muted when you said, I don't know who this Dario is. He's been coming around for a few weeks. So I just wanted to say that Dario has been in contact with Frank way back, and then me for quite a few months. And he's finally making steps, hopefully, and he's met Rabbi Rachel to on his Jewish journey, and we look forward to welcoming him properly and not just on a Shabbat.
That's wonderful. That's
Yeah,
great.
well,
Yes,
welcome.
good.
That's very good. Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh,
it's lovely. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Gosh, somebody young.
Don't scare him off saying somebody young like that.
Sorry, it was me.
Dario, nobody scared you off yet, have they?
No, not yet.
Oh yeah, give it time. Well, you haven't seen us face to face. That's what it is.
So
your mitzvahs.
Sometimes we're still on mitzvahs, and sometimes we have volunteers who want to take part of the Amidah. Does anybody want to take part of the Amidah this morning?
Oh, no rush.
No, we'll come back to that. There's also the community blessings. Would anyone like to read one or all of the community blessings?
Okay, for the Queen, I think that's Paul. What, Paul? Do you want to do the royal family and our politicians? Yup. You need to pray very strongly, Paul. Really.
So, should we let Paul and Pat do the community blessings?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you alternate between the two of you. How about that? Is there anyone else that wants to do a mitzvah of any kind of their choice?
I'm not going to do anything because I'm recovering from a cold. I might get a coughing fit at any time.
All right. Okay. Well, if nobody wants to do anything else, we'll leave it at that. So the rest is up to you, Gwendolyn.
Okay. Let's make a start. I'm afraid there isn't going to be a themed reading this morning. So we'll start with the Shabbat service 4, which is on page 122 of the Siddur.
Oh, and where is Joseph?
And I'm going to put everyone on mute, so that but you're going to be allowed to unmute yourself if you've got something important to draw our attention to. And then we'll start with Matohu on page 122. Matohu, Matohu, Matohu Olecha Yaakov, Mishknotecha Yisrael, Mishknotecha Yisrael, Va'ani barov chastecha avo veitecha eshtachave elhecha kodshecha v'yiratecha elhecha kodshecha v'yiratecha. Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha, umakom mishkan kavodecha, va'ani eshtachave ve'echra'a evrecha lifnei Adonai osi. Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov chastecha elhecha aneni be'emet Yishecha. Eternal God, we come before you, surrounded, at least on Zoom, by members of our community. With them we share our happiness, and it becomes greater. our troubles, and they become smaller. May we never be too mean to give nor too proud to receive, for in giving and receiving we discover you and begin to understand the meaning of life. Let us not separate ourselves from the true strength of our community, the experience and wisdom of old people, the hopes of the young, and the examples of care and courage which sustain us. Give us an open mind and a generous heart to welcome those who need us and to admit your presence into our daily life. We praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, for the strength that comes to us through our community. We should revere God in all we do, privately as well as publicly, acknowledge the truth and speak it in our hearts. Sovereign of all worlds, we lay our supplications before you, relying not on our merit, but on your abundant mercy. For what are we? What is our life? And what our piety? What our goodness? And what our strength? What can we say in your presence, eternal God? Are not the mightiest of us as nothing before you, the famous as though they had never lived, the learned as if they had no knowledge, the wise as if without understanding? For most of what we do is futile, and our life on earth is but a span. Our superiority over our other animals amounts to little, for all is vanity. Nevertheless, we are your people, children of your covenant, and called to your service. Therefore, it is right that we should thank and praise you, proclaim your holiness, and daily say before you, happy are we, how good is our portion, how pleasant our lot, how beautiful our heritage. Ashreinu, Ashreinu, ma tov, ma tov, ma tov chelkeinu. Ashreinu, Ashreinu, ma tov, ma tov, ma tov chelkeinu. Umanayim, umanayim, umanayim goraleinu. Umanayim, umanayim, umanayim goraleinu. Umanayim, umanayim, umanayim goraleinu. Umanayim, umanayim, umanayim goraleinu. Umayafa, mayafa, 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 Yerushateinu, Ashreinu. Mayafa, 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 Yerushateinu, Ashreinu. Ashreinu, Ashreinu, matov, matov, matov chelkeinu. Ashreinu, Ashreinu, matov, matov, matov chelkeinu. Umanayim, umanayim, umanayim goraleinu. Umanayim, umanayim, umanayim goraleinu. Umanayim, umanayim, umanayim goraleinu. Umanayim, umanayim, umanayim goraleinu. Mayafa, 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 Yerushateinu, Ashreinu. Mayafa, 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 Yerushateinu, Ashreinu. Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam. המהולל בפי עמו, משובח ומפואר בלשון חסידיו ועבדיו. בשבחות ובזמירות נגדל לך ונמליכך מלכנו יחיד חי העולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך מחולל בתשבחות. We praise you, sovereign God, to whom all praise is due. At dawn and dusk I seek you. Reach out and look to you. With soul athirst I yearn for you. I am a beggar at your door. The galaxies cannot contain you, yet you dwell in my inmost being. I hold your glory in my heart. My love for you exceeds my speech. So I will praise your name, Eternal One, as long as your breath of life remains within me. Praised be the Eternal One forever. Amen and amen. Praised be the eternal God, the God of Israel, who does wonderful things. Let God's glorious name be praised forever, and let the whole earth be filled with God's glory. Amen and amen. The soul of every living being shall praise your name, Eternal One, our God, and the spirit of all flesh shall acclaim your majesty forever. From everlasting to everlasting, you are God. Nishmat kol chai, tevarech et shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu, v'ruach kol basar, תפאר ותרומם זכרך מלכנו תמיד מן העולם ועד העולם אתה Let's turn back now to page 120 and sing Tov Lahodot. It is good to give thanks to the Eternal One. 120, 120. Tov Lahodot l'Adonai ולזמר לשמך העליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבל עלי היגיון בכינור כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך במעשה ידיך ארנן מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך צדיק כתם יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינון בשיבה דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא החלטה בו. And so we turn now back to page 126. God of all ages, of all generations, of all creatures, to whom our praise ascends, you guide the world with constant love, your children with tender care. To you alone we give thanks. Yet though our mouths should overflow with song as the sea, our tongues with exultation as the roaring waves, our lips with praise as heaven's wide expanse. And though our eyes shine as the sun and moon, our arms spread forth like the wings of eagles, and our feet speed swiftly as hinds, still we could not fully thank you, eternal God, for your infinite kindness to our ancestors and to us. Therefore, the limbs you have formed in us, the spirit you have breathed into us, and the tongue you have set in our mouths, all shall unite to thank and praise, extol you and exalt you, the sovereign God. Every mouth shall thank you, every tongue bear witness to you, every knee shall bend to you, every body bow down to you, every heart shall revere you, and every fiber of our being shall sing your praise. For so it is written, all my bones shall say, who is like you, Eternal One? Therefore we extol you and proclaim your glory and praise your holy name, as it is said, praise the Eternal One, O my soul. Let all that is within me praise God's holy name. And we turn forward now to page 135. In fact, page 134 to sing Psalm 150. 134, 134. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 Bakocho, hallelujah, Birkia Uzo, hallelujah, Big Vorotav, hallelujah, Karov, good Lord. Sorry. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, betake a shofar, hallelujah, benevel v'chino, hallelujah, betofu mechol. Hallelujah, b'minim b'hugav. Hallelujah, 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 b'tzilzlei shama. Hallelujah, b'tzilzlei truah. Kol haneshama hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. So it says in the prayer book now that the congregation will stand. It's up to you if you stand. I'm going to remain sitting. But we're coming now to our call to prayer. Yishtabach shimcha la'ad malkeinu ha'el ha'melech ha'gadol v'ha'kadosh b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Ki lachana Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu ושבחה, הלל וזמרה, ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוכה בשירי זמרה. We praise you, O God. May you accept our songs of praise. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 la lai lai lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 Ta-da! Lai la lai 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 la lai 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 la lai 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai hamavorach hamavorach leolam vaed. Hamavorach hamavorach leolam vaed. And we're now at the top of page 136, 1 through 6. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol, hameir la'aretz veladarim aleha berachamim, uvetuvo machadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita, mal'a ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shevach ma'aseh yadecha, ve'al me'orei or she'asita, yefa'arucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'me'orot. We praise you, O God, creator of light. Great is your love for us, eternal God, and abundant your compassion. Our ancestors trusted in you, and you taught them the laws of life. So be gracious to us and teach us, incline our hearts to hear your words, to know and understand, to learn and teach, and with love to uphold the truths of your Torah. Enlighten us with your teaching, make us faithful to your commandments and wholehearted in the love and awe of your name. V'ha'erinenu b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yached levavenu le'ahava u'le'yira et shemecha. V'ha'erinenu b'toratecha, v'dabek libeinu b'mitzvotecha, v'yached levavenu le'ahava u'le'yira et shemecha. For in love you summon us to serve you and proclaim your unity. We praise you, O God. In love you have called your people Israel to serve you. Baruch atah Adonai habocher ba'amo Yisrael ba'ahava. Hear, O Israel, the eternal one is our God. The eternal God is one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך, ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Good and beautiful and true, sound, established and enduring are these words, now and forever. True it is, eternal one, that you are our sovereign God and Redeemer, as you were the God and Redeemer of our ancestors. You are our Maker, the rock of our salvation. We have known you always as our helper and our liberator. There is no God but you. Truly, you are first and you are last. We have no Redeemer but you. You redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Then with great joy, Moses, Miriam, and all Israel together sang to you this song. Lai la 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 lai la la lai 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 la 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 lai la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai la la lai 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 la 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 lai lai la la lai 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 mi chamocha be'elim Adonai mi kamocha neder b'kodesh nora tehilot osef eleh שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמך שפת הים, לשמך שפת הים. יחד כולם הודו והמליכו, והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל, God, Israel, Israel. So we're now on page 140, 140, for the Amidah, the standing prayer. Lai, 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 la, 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 lai, la, la, lai, lai, la, 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 lai, lai. Lai, 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 la, 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 lai, la, la, lai, lai, la, 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 lai. Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני העפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך במית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. לקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך. קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. כבודו מלא עולם, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומך מלכנו תופיע ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. You inspired our ancestors to hallow this day for your service. When upon its coming we pause to contemplate our life, we learn anew that we do not live by bread alone, but also by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day and for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy and for its peace. May our worship help us to take into our hearts its message of holiness and consecrate all our days by devotion to what is true, beautiful, and good. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, mekadeshei shvi Shabbat. Kulam yisba'u v'yitangu mituv ha'Shabbat. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Mekadeshei, mekadeshei shvi Shabbat. Mekadeshei, mekadeshei shvi Shabbat. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. V'hashvi'i ratzita bo v'kidashtu Shabbat. Chemdat yamim oto karata ha'Shabbat. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh v'reishit Shabbat. Zecher l'maaseh v'reishit Shabbat. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Yismachu b'malchutecha, shomrei, shomrei, shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg Shabbat. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu, ritzei b'mnuchatenu, kadshenu b'mitzvotecha, v'ten chelkenu b'toratecha, sab'enu mituvecha, v'samchenu b'shuatecha, v'tacha libeinu le'ovtecha be'emet, v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu, באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך, וינוחו בה ישראל, מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. La 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 la. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael u'tefilatam ba'ahavat kabel u'tehi l'ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael ha'amecha Baruch atah Adonai שיותך לבדך וירא נעבוד. מודים אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו לעולם ועד. צור חיינו, מגן אישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. נודה לך ונספר תהילתך על חיינו המסורים בידיך. ועל נשמותינו הפקודות לך, ועל ניסיך שבכל יום עמנו, ועל נפלותיך וטובותיך שבכל עת ערב ובוקר וצהריים. ברוך אתה אדוני, הטוב שמך ולך נאה הודות. Grant peace, welfare and blessing, grace, love and mercy to us and to all Israeli people. As a loving parent, bless us with the light of your presence, for by the light of your presence, eternal God, you have revealed to us the law of life, a love of kindness and righteousness, blessing and mercy, life and peace. For it is good in your sight that your people Israel and all peoples be blessed at all times with the gift of peace. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. Baruch atah Adonai oseh hashalom. And now we have a few minutes for silent prayer. ולרצון אמרתי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל בני אדם. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. So let's move now onto our Torah service, which we find on page 481. And we'll have Linda ready to say the Torah blessings and also read the translation for us. The Torah reading this morning is from Genesis chapter 41. Genesis chapter 41, verses 1 to 14, if you've got your own Tanakh or Chumash there. And we're now on page 481 of the Siddur. Ein kamocha va'elohim Adonai, ve'ein kama'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadolul Adonai iti, Uno mamash Shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagadula, v'hagavura v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach v'hod. Ki chol b'shamayim, b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, v'hamitnaseh lechol lerosh. So now we're going to ask Linda to say the Torah blessings for us. Linda, would you like to mention your Hebrew name?
Yeah, it's Leah, but Baruch. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. So if you could now say the blessing before the Torah reading and then read the English. Kevin, you were going to
I'm going to
show
share
it on the screen
now.
share.
So we're going to start off with English, yes?
Yeah,
I think we'll
I've got a
start off
copy.
with English. You've got a copy, have you? Okay, then.
For the rest of the congregation, the English is up on the screen.
Okay. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavorach. Baruch Adonai
hamavorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein ha'torah.
Amen.
At the end of 2 years' time, Pharaoh had a dream. There he was, standing by the Nile, when 7 cows came up out of the Nile, handsome and fat. They grazed among the reeds, and now 7 other cows came up after them from the Nile, repulsive and gaunt. They stood beside the other cows at the bank of the Nile. The cows that were repulsive and gaunt then ate the cows that were handsome and fat, and Pharaoh woke up. He fell asleep and dreamt a second time. This time, 7 ears of grain were growing on a single stalk. They were healthy and good. And then 7 ears of grain, thin, scorched by the east wind, grew after them. The 7 ears of grain that were thin and scorched by the east wind then swallowed the 7 ears of grain that were healthy and full, and Pharaoh woke up. Behold, it was a dream. In the morning, his spirit was troubled. He put out a call for all the soothsayer priests and sages of Egypt. Pharaoh related his dream to them, but no one could interpret them for Pharaoh. The chief cupbearer then spoke to Pharaoh, saying, "This day I must acknowledge my sins." Pharaoh had grown angry at his servants, so he put me under guard in the house of the captain of the guard, me and the chief baker. We dreamt a dream on a single night, he and I, each dream of ours with its own meaning. Now there with us was a Hebrew lad, a slave of the captain of the guard. When we related our dreams to him, he interpreted for us, interpreting each one's dream according to its own meaning. And as he interpreted for us, so it came to be. Pharaoh restored me to my position, and him Pharaoh hanged. So Pharaoh sent to summon Joseph. They hurried him from the pit. He shaved, changed his clothing, and came to Pharaoh.
I'm going to put you back on mute, and I'm going to read the Hebrew now, and then we'll have the blessing after the Torah reading in Hebrew. So if you can be ready for that. And thank you, Kevin, for showing the Hebrew. ויהי מקץ 2 ימים, ופרעה חולם, והנה עומד על היאור, והנה מן היאור עולות 7 פרות, יפות מראה ובריאות בשר, ותראינה באחו, והנה 7 פרות אחרות עולות אחריהן מן היאור, רעות מראה ודקות בשר, ותעמודנה אצל הפרות על שפת היאור, ותאכלנה הפרות רעות המראה ודקות הבשר את 7 הפרות יפות המראה והבריות. ויקץ פרעה וישן ויחלום שנית, והנה 7 שיבולים עולות בקנה אחד בריות וטובות, והנה 7 שיבולים דקות ושדופות קדים, צומחות אחריהן, ותבלענה השיבולים הדקות את 7 השיבולים הבריות והמלאות. ויקץ פרעה והנה חלום, ויהי בבוקר ותתפעם רוחו, וישלח ויקרא את כל הר תומי מצרים ואת כל חכמיה. ויספר פרעה להם את חלומו, ואין פוטר אותם לפרעה. וידבר שר המשקים את פרעה לאמור, את חטאי אני מזכיר היום. פרעה קצב את עבדיו, ויתן אותי במשמר. בית שר הטבחים אותי ואת שר האופים. ונחל חלום בלילה אחד אני והוא, איש כפתחון חלומו חלמנו. ושם איתנו נער עברי, עבד לשר הטבחים, ונספר לו, ויפתר לנו את חלומותינו, איש כחלומו פתר. ויהי כאשר פתר לנו כן היה, אותי השיב על כני ואותו תלה. וישלח פרעה ויקרא את יוסף, וירצו מן הבור. ויגלח ויחלף שמלותיו, ויבוא אל פרעה.
שכוח.
ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Amen. Thank you, Linda. So now we move straight on to our Haftarah. The Haftarah this morning is from Kings. It's actually quite unusual for Miketz to fall after Hanukkah, as it has done this year. So we don't always hear this Haftarah from Kings, which is about the wisdom of Solomon. And Rosemary.
That's not Alan Solomon, by the way.
Oh,
or Janet. Sorry.
Well, maybe.
Maybe, who knows? Sorry.
Who knows?
Sorry to interrupt.
I just wonder if Rosemary is ready. I'll ask her to unmute. Great. Over to you, Rosemary.
In this Haftarah, King Solomon has a dream, which is more than a dream. All Israel joins the king in acknowledging that the wisdom which the 18-year-old monarch possesses is of God. It is very interesting that as a young king, Solomon was idealistic. He had a spirit of reverence in that he did not ask for prestige, but for the power to love and serve his people and advance their welfare. Solomon's father David created the nation, but Solomon went on to create the Israelitish state also. I assume the Haftarah will appear on screen.
Fortunately, I haven't set up the screen share for this, so.
Oh well, I've got a reading of it from my from my old school Bible.
Good for you. Go for that then.
It's on the same PDF. It's on the same PowerPoint.
It is. I wasn't sure. Okay, bear with me then. I wasn't sure.
Would you like Kevin to put it up, Rosemary?
It's up to you, Rosemary. Do you want me to put it up for everyone to follow?
Well, the thing is that I think the sound from my computer's not very good, is it? So it might be
Okay,
better.
let's get back to the PowerPoint. Is it at the bottom?
The next page.
What page number?
Okay, so now you're in it already, so go back up. Okay, so down one page. Okay, so it'll be the very next bit will be it. No, I'm wrong. Okay, there's just English there. Another page.
We'll get there.
Okay, well, now we're in it.
Oh, we're in it, right. Okie dokie.
It
Sorry about
starts,
that, folks.
Solomon had a dream, I think. It was a dream.
Yes, it does, yeah.
Okay, we're nearly there.
Okay.
We're there now. Okay, apologies for that little bit of a delay. Oops,
No,
wait.
that's not right. No, we're back to Pharaoh. Okay, something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to manage without the.
Yes, I can read from my. I can read it without.
Yes, it starts. Then Solomon awoke.
That's right. Yes. Or shall I read from my?
Yes, I think let's do without the screen share, Kevin, and we'll just listen to Rosemary.
And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings and offered peace offerings, and made a feast to all his servants. Then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my lord, I and this woman dwell in one house, and I was delivered of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also, and we were together. There was no stranger with us in the house, save we 2 in the house. And this woman's child died in the night, because she overlaid it. And she arose at midnight, and took my son from beside me, while thine handmaid slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son which I did bear. And the other woman said, Nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is thy son. And this said, No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they spoke before the king. Then said the king, the one saith, This is my son that liveth, and thy son is a dead. And the other saith, Nay, but thy son is a dead, and my son is a living. And the king said, Fetch me a sword. And they brought a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the living child in 2, and give half to the one, and half to the other. Then spake the woman, whose the living child was under the king, for her bowels yearned upon her son. And she said, O my lord, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, It shall be neither mine nor thine, divide it. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all Israel heard the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. And King Solomon was king over Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, so kol ha'olamim, tzaddik b'chol hadavarot, ha'el haneman, ha'omer ba'oseh, hamadaber umakayim, shekol davarev, emet v'tzaddik, al haTorah, va'al ha'avodah, va'al hanevi'im, va'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnuha lekavod u'letifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umavarakim otah Yitbarah Shimha Bafiko Hai Tamid Leolam Ba'ed Baruch Ata Adonai Makadesh HaShabbat.
Thank you very much, Rosemary, for that lovely reading. And now we go to the community blessings, which are on page 484 of the prayer book, and we're going to ask Paul and Pat to read them for us.
Eternal God, whose dominion embraces the universe, we ask your blessing for our Sovereign Lady Queen Elizabeth and all the royal family, for those who govern our country and all who influence the quality of its national life. Make them conscious of their responsibility and teach them to exercise it in accordance with your will. May we all help to fashion in this country a society that excels in freedom and justice, tolerance and compassion, so that it may be a force for righteousness and peace in the life of humanity.
Eternal God, as you blessed our ancestors in generations past, bless now this congregation, its leaders and its members, and all who enter this virtual synagogue to meet, to study, and to pray. Comfort the sorrowing hearts among us and heal those in anxiety or pain. May we all find here community and friendship, renewal of purpose and hope, and a deeper understanding of our heritage, and a sense of your abiding presence. Bless all congregations of the House of Israel throughout the world. Let those who live under oppressive rule soon be freed, and may we all witness to your truth and do your will.
Eternal God, our rock and redeemer, grant blessing to the state of Israel, created to fulfill an age-old dream and to be a haven for the oppressed. Inspire its leaders and citizens with faithfulness to the aims of its founders, to develop the land for the benefit of all its inhabitants, and to implement the prophetic ideals of liberty and justice. May they live in harmony with one another and in peace with their neighbors, and cause to come true once more the ancient vision that out of Zion shall go forth Torah and the word of God from Jerusalem.
Amen. Thank you very much, Paul and Pat. So we now finish our Torah service on page 489. Behold, a good doctrine has been given you. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast, and all who cling to it find happiness. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Help us to return to you, O God, then we shall return. Renew our days as in the past. Ashivenu Adonai elecha, v'nashuva chadesh yameinu kekedem, chadesh yameinu And I saw Kevin there was imagining closing the ark.
Yeah, I was looking at Stephen, and I was actually visioning us being in the building and the ark. There's no way that we can manage it with that backdrop, is there, Stephen?
No. So I'm going to say a few words about the Torah reading today. As I think I already mentioned, this week's portion was Miketz, and it starts with Pharaoh's dreams. That's the first part of the portion. After that, Joseph becomes Pharaoh's second in command, and having gathered up all the surplus grain, the famine begins. Joseph's brothers arrive to buy food, And we actually end on a cliffhanger. Will Joseph reveal his identity to his brothers or not? So, as always in Genesis, it's amazing how much happens in just 1 week's portion. I want to focus on dreams today because I know that lots of people have reported an increase in dreams during this pandemic, especially at the start of the lockdown. Today's Haftarah from Kings comes, as Rosemary told us, immediately after a dream in which Solomon asks God for an understanding mind, Lev Shomea, literally a listening heart. That this listening heart or understanding mind should enable him to judge his people. The story of 2 women fighting over 1 baby is then an opportunity for Solomon to try out his new superpower. In some ways, Solomon's dream is similar to Jacob's dream, the one with Jacob's ladder, because there's a direct conversation with God. Although Solomon doesn't get the vision of angels going up and down a ladder, perhaps the camera is turned off. The dreams in Joseph's story, and there are 3 pairs of dreams. There are Pharaoh's 2 dreams that we just read about, and immediately before that there are his 2 servants' dreams, which Joseph interprets, and then Joseph's dreams. These dreams are different because they aren't about talking to God. They're about things behaving strangely. Sheaves of corn, stars, cows, and so on. On one level, we can understand these dreams as a literary device which drives the story forward. Or in the case of Joseph's dreams, which are the first to happen but the last to be fulfilled, they actually hold things back. Because as we see in this week's portion, Joseph hasn't tried to contact his family at all in over 20 years in Egypt. And he can't bring himself to acknowledge his brothers until he has manipulated the situation to fit in with his dreams. So how does this all relate to our own dreams? For what it's worth, my understanding of psychological theory, and I'm certainly not an expert, is that dreams, the dreams we have when we're asleep, rather than metaphorical dreams, which are aspirations, I suppose, that dreams we have when we're asleep are a way of processing what has actually happened or is actually happening in our lives. So when I dream about work, it might be because I feel under pressure and I'm trying to make sense of this. And when we dream more during a lockdown, that's understandable because we're trying to make sense of a difficult and unprecedented situation. Does this idea fit in with the dreams in the Joseph story? Well, Pharaoh's dreams are probably the most straightforward. If we imagine a society of farmers entirely dependent on the Nile for water, and where famines are a common occurrence. I mean, not many of us keep cattle or live by the Nile, but Pharaoh did. So in this situation, in this society, the 7 fat cows are a reality. Egypt is enjoying a boom in agriculture, and Pharaoh, who has experienced famine in the past, is wondering how long the good times will actually last. If that's right, then Joseph's real contribution is not as an interpreter of dreams, because the meaning of the dream is pretty obvious. Joseph's real contribution is offering a response to the situation. Let's store the surplus grain so that we have enough to eat in the famine that's sure to follow. Let's save for a rainy day, or actually, let's save for when the rain fails. With Pharaoh's servants, whose dreams Joseph interprets in prison, we need to assume that Pharaoh's birthday is a well-known time, a time for prisoners to be pardoned or not. A bit like the Queen's birthday is a time for the birthday honours list. And so the servants and Joseph are wondering if it will be their turn this year to be pardoned. And that informs their dreams and makes it easier for Joseph to interpret them. What about Joseph's own dreams? The sheaves of corn and the stars. He and his family understand these dreams as predicting the future. But what if Joseph or his father or his brothers had realized that they actually reflected the present and the immediate past? Joseph is a favorite son, given special treatment, unlike his 11 brothers. It's a dysfunctional family building up resentment. Perhaps if Joseph had understood this, if he'd said to his father, it's not right that you treat me differently from my brothers. Perhaps if Joseph had understood this, someone else would have gathered the excess grain in ancient Egypt, and our ancestors would never have become slaves. As we come to the end of 2020, but not sadly to the end of this pandemic, let's look forward to a better, safer, healthier future and pray that, like Solomon, we have a lev shomea, an understanding mind, helping us to use our dreams to make sense of the present rather than to predict the future. Shabbat Shalom. So I'm going to invite everyone to unmute themselves and to comment on the Torah reading or the Haftarah today. Anyone would like to say anything?
Thank you for giving us some hope as well, which is sometimes very difficult when we hear the news, and sort of perhaps bringing the Torah reading into context of what happened. I'm going a little bit off topic. When I hear that reading, I was imagining Elvis, the Elvis Pharaoh in the Joseph play. I was expecting Linda to do a best Elvis impersonation, but never mind. But yeah,
So I'm expecting Gwendolyn to don a lum to the tune of Any Dream Will Do.
Yeah. We normally have Joseph for this one, so that's quite appropriate. But anyway.
I was wandering along by the banks of the river when 7 fat cows came out of the Nile. I think that's about as far as I can get.
Okay.
But I'm sure you'll remember it.
Yeah. But I do love Genesis, the stories, because every time I hit that, there's a different take every year. And we could pick it to bits. But Joseph wasn't perfect in this story, the way he toyed with his brothers.
I find it quite disturbing the way that he tries to manipulate the situation in this portion, because he thinks that the dreams predicted the future and that he has to be in that situation where his brothers bow down to him, all 11 of them.
One thing I was going to say, which I got quite interested in, on reading my portion, is that Solomon came to the throne, I think, when he was about 18, and then, he was very idealistic. And I probably don't know the rest of the story well enough to know whether he lost some of the idealism of youth, because of having to be a king. I don't know, Gwendolyn, would you say possibly that he might have?
Well, traditionally we think of Solomon as being very wise, but he does seem to have done some things that are less wise, like marrying lots of foreign women, for example, and it seems that he might not have been entirely faithful to the Israelite religion. So I don't know, but it was very nice, the information you gave us about how young he was when he came to the throne. And that must have been quite a challenge for him. And he wasn't the first of David's sons to have a go at grabbing the throne, was he? There'd been a whole series of fighting between the different sons during David's lifetime. So I think it was his mother who fixed it for him in the end. His mother was Bathsheba. Interesting. There's an Israeli comic. I don't know if anybody, I think you probably, I saw a little bit of it, but the Hebrew is very fast. It has some subtitles where there's a spoof where the comedian is Solomon. He's like a teenage Solomon who's having a very difficult time, and his mother is sort of trying to make him eat the right foods and things and trying to placate him. That's quite funny. I don't know if anyone's seen that.
Do you
I'll try
remember
and
the
find
name of the comedian?
No, but if I find out, I'll let Kevin know, and he can tell people. It was quite funny, but I don't think you can watch too much of it unless you actually understand the Hebrew, because you feel a bit overstretched after a while. But it sort of makes him out to be a naughty boy, which I think might tie in with some of Rosemary's thoughts.
And I think I got quite interested in that this was a hierarchy, so it wasn't, you know, a democracy.
No, these definitely weren't democracies. Cool. Shall we continue with our service? And I think we should continue with a prayer for healing. I'm sure that many of us know people who aren't well in the community, in our families. So while we find the page, which is page 606, just take a few moments to think of people that you know, or yourselves, if you're also not well, who need our prayers for healing and recovery. And also, I have some names here of members of the community who are not well at the moment. So we remember this morning Sheila Martin, Harold Sanderson, and George Vulcan. May it be your will, eternal one, our God and God of our ancestors, speedily to grant a perfect healing of body and mind to us and all who are sick. V'yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu, shetishlach lanu mahira refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, b'toch she'ah hacholim. We praise you, O God, the source of healing. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. And we continue now with the Aleinu, which is on page 520, 520. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, אשר שם חלקנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. Trusting in you, eternal God, we hope soon to behold the glory of your might when false gods will vanish from our hearts and idolatry cease forever. Help us to perfect the world by bringing it under your unchallenged rule, when all will invoke your name, relinquish evil, and turn to you alone. May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them give honor. Let us submit to your sovereign rule. May that time come soon and last forever. For ultimate sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory, as it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever. And as it has been said, the eternal God shall rule over all the earth. On that day the eternal God shall be one, and known to be one. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. And we turn now to the Kaddish, which we find on page 524.
And if anyone wants to unmute themselves during the Kaddish prayer, if that gives you more comfort, feel free to do so.
It is hard to feel serene when our world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone. Yet in the emptiness their passing leaves, we are not alone, for we have the companionship of the living, and even our loved ones who have died live on in our hearts, for what they were is part of what we have become. And today we are remembering the yortzites of Beatty Applebaum, the mother of Mavis Carr, Richard Grun, the father of Jackie and Zoe Grun, Minnie Himmelfarb, the mother of Linda Pace, Paul Kahn, the stepfather of Gideon Fiegel, Elizabeth Palmer, the sister of Rosemary Wolfson, Leonard Scheinwald, father of Nigel Scheinwald, Lippmann Sontag, the father of Richard Sontag, and Alec Benjamin, the father of Rabbi Rachel Benjamin. Also this week, our hearts go out to the family of George Adams, the father of Nigel and John, who died recently. And I'm also remembering my cousin Irina Kudashevich, whose funeral was this week. We honor them best when we live as they would wish, responsibly and happily, even in the shadow of our loss, and so draw closer to the source of life, in whom every life finds meaning, purpose, and hope. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'la'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'al v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei kedusha b'richu. La'elam min kol birchata b'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru. Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei Adam, ve'imru. Amen. May the Most High Source of perfect peace grant peace to us, to all Israel, and to all humanity. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Do we have any notices, Kevin?
Yes, as usual we do. But before I actually make reference to the notices, I wish Gwendolyn you long life and strength, having recently lost your cousin. Only good things. And also to Rosemary and Linda, as you remember your loved ones, and thank you for your contribution to the service. And also think of Rabbi Rachel at the moment, who may be tuning in on the streaming. Sometimes she does, but if you're listening to us, I'm sure on behalf of all the community, we wish you long life and only good things. Future services, well, Gwendolyn, thank you first of all for the current service today, for your wonderful singing and giving us sort of meaning and hope with the from the Torah passage in your sermon, your interpretation of that. So thank you for that. And always your singing is an absolute pleasure. And I am going to share something with you, Gwendolyn. I don't want to embarrass you. I do get emails saying when's Gwendolyn going to take our next service. So I'll let them if they want to date themselves. But you have got a following, Gwendolyn. So you're now Friday night singer. You're now kind of become Friday night service taker and now Saturday morning service taker. So thank you. And if you really are one of Gwendolyn's groupies, I'm going to call them now, Gwendolyn will be taking the service on the 25th of December. I think something else is happening that day. I can't think what it is. But if whatever you're doing that day, if you just want to have a little break from whatever you would normally do, 7 o'clock, tune into the joint service Gwendolyn will be doing with Reform. And the next Shabbat, I believe, Rabbi Rachel will be taking the services. So it'll be business as usual, despite other things going on. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully I'll get this right. Just to let you know about some other events that's happening. I say this is all from the website. Tomorrow we've got a gemologist. That's somebody who makes jewellery. And I can't pronounce the name. Menahab Dimish. Anyway, at 4 p.m. tomorrow, if you want to find out about his, it seems like he had
Kevin, a cousin of Alan's. It's Menachem Sev Dermish.
Oh gosh, I apologise, Janet. I'm in trouble now.
He started the bourse, the jewellery bourse in Israel. He's very, very clever.
Okay, so that should be interesting. Alan, would you like the next announcement? Do you want to give some more details about the Meet the Rabbi?
Yes, thanks, Kevin. Yes, on this coming Tuesday, the 22nd, is the next in the series of interviews organised by Mosaic. And I am actually interviewing our former assistant rabbi, people who remember from years ago, Rabbi Alex Duchovny, who is now, and has been for 20 years or something, I think, the chief rabbi of the progressive Jewish congregations in Ukraine. So this will be an opportunity to hear Alex telling us all about his congregations, his duties and responsibilities in Ukraine, and the problems that they're facing, financial, everything else, and telling us about what he does, and of course where the money that we continue to raise for the congregations there, the use that they put these monies to. So that's this coming Tuesday, the 22nd, starting at 2:30. And if my audio is still causing a problem, I will certainly make sure that it's okay by then, maybe using a different device to speak from. Anyway, that's next Tuesday, the 22nd.
I'll just draw your attention to one other event. I know this is led by the Reform, but if anyone wants to turn up in their pyjamas next Shabbat at 10 a.m., I'm going to make this clear on our service. Please make sure you're fully clothed. But this is obviously an initiative of the reform, and we're all welcome to join that. But please get fully dressed for our service. And just one more thing is the quiz we have Sunday week. There's a quiz led by John Ashmel. I have actually entered this. It is very tough. If you want an easy ride, don't enter. But there's some good challenging questions for any quiz fanatics. So that's me done for announcements. Is there anything else anyone wants to share or announce before we have the closing hymn? Okay, Gwendolyn, there's an expectation that there'll be something related to the Joseph musical. Don't want to drop you in it, but unless you've got something else planned, but I'll leave it to you.
Okay, well, we can try Any Dream Will Do. I don't know if I can remember it all. Lindsay might have to help me.
You can sing Adonai Olam to it, Gwendolyn. Adonai Olam fits to the tune. So if you know the
let's
tune,
try.
Adonai Olam.
Let's try. Adonai Olam, Hashem
La la la.
Terem Kol,
La la.
Yetzir Nivra, Le'et Nasa, Lehefzo Kol,
La la la.
Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra. V'acharei kichmot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yeh b'tifara. V'hu echad v'ein sheni l'hamshir lo v'hachbira v'li reshit v'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamizrach. V'hu Eli, v'chai koli, v'tzurev li, v'etzara, v'hu nisi umanos li, v'nat kosi, v'yom ekra. Beyado afkid ruchi ve'tishan ve'aira ve'im ruchi gaviyati Adonai ve'lo ira.
Thank you.
I didn't dare go on to the next bit of the tune with the flash of lights.
Yeah.
That goes well as well.
I realised I should have asked for a volunteer to do the la-las and the echoes, but it's always good fun watching Janet sort of cringing every time I sing.
Well, next year we'll practice beforehand, Kevin.
Okay, goodbye.
Always best to prepare these things. Let's finish our service with a blessing. Which we'll find on page 529. Eternal God, grant strength to your people. Eternal God, bless your people with peace. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. And now we'll go into the library for Kiddush.
Yes, Stephen. Change your backdrop, please. Okay, Shabbat Shalom. Maybe allow about 30 seconds or so for those who are prepared to get their chalots or wine.
Does anybody want to fetch their wine or their
Well,
challah? I can see
I
one
know
glass
Janet
of
and Alan are
wine
always
there.
very well prepared for their. Is it sherry that you drink or?
Has anyone
Believe
got
it
a
or not,
challah?
today we've got port.
Oh, port.
I'd just like to say before we do Kiddush, thank you very much to everyone who took part today. As you could tell, I'm just getting over quite a bad cold, and it was a bit more of a struggle than usual, but I think we got through.
Managed.
And it was a great help to have some support from.
And I was always willing to
Rosemary and
take
Linda
over the
and-
singing if you were really struggling.
Yes.
So I'm glad you managed.
Good. Okay.
And Hepzibah, it's common.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen. Would anyone like to lead Chamotzi? Whoever's got a holler? If not, no. Yes, here we go. How about the Solomon, sound permitting?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom again, everybody, and feel free to unmute, please.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Wish you long life, Linda.
Thank you.
And
And Rosemary.
Rosemary, wish you long life as well.
Well read, both of you as well. Joseph is definitely my favourite story. I've seen the musical so many times. I was actually in it at school.
What part did you play?
I played, you know, the one who told Pharaoh, I know of a man in jail who knows a lot about G, he tells them well. And also, I was one of the Ishmaelites as well. Yeah, when we grabbed Joseph, I remember.
Hairy Ishmaelite.
Yeah, I was very hairy, and we had to sort of grab Joseph and give him a good kicking. I really acted that one up well.
Kevin, just to let you know that Barnet has 3 more recruits. Visiting the hive tomorrow will be Alan and both the Zatzes to get their vaccines.
Yeah, that's right.
At the hive.
I'm going there this afternoon because I know someone has. It's absolute chaos there. I was there playing football, and all these lost people. So I'm going there today just to help out there. It's really poorly organised.
Really?
Well, you better get it sorted before tomorrow, otherwise Paul will be very cross.
The 3 of us are there tomorrow morning, so make sure.
Good luck to you.
Good luck.
Nobody knows what's going on. Hopefully they'll get it better organised today, but yesterday this is all these people. Well, they're telling me, and I was just having a drink after football, where do I go for the vaccine? It's just, hopefully they've improved the signage. They need stewards there or volunteers. It's not good how they've done it. It's all very well having this facility, but if you get people desperate for a vaccine, not knowing where to go.
Really?
I'm hoping that it'll be better today. But anyway, I'm good. Well, so who's having that actually done there?
Tomorrow, I've got an appointment there at about 11:30 tomorrow.
All right, good luck to you. Of course, you're of that age.
Thank you for reminding me, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's one advantage of being probably more senior. It puts you up the pecking order.
Okay, right, okay.
My mother had it yesterday, Alan. It's quite easy, apparently, not painful at all. So.
Well done. How's your dad, Stephen?
Yeah. He's okay. Yes, you could probably remove him from the get well list for a while at least. Hopefully.
Oh, that's good news.
He's out of hospital. He's okay.
Oh, good.
Still not eating as much as I'd like, but neither is Mum. So I just need to fatten them up a bit like
naggle them a bit.
Back in the Joseph story, fatten them up before the famine.
For the family.
We'll send him our best anyway.
Yes, please. Yeah.
I will do.
People might be interested to learn that we mentioned the death about a week or 10 days ago of George Adams, which Gwendolyn mentioned. George, I sort of knew because he lived in Pinner and I delivered his magazine each month. And unfortunately, he didn't quite make his 100th birthday. He was 99 and he would have been 100 March next year, but he was a nice old boy. Yes, a great shame. And he lived next door to another of our members, actually, who's a lot less than 100. Anyway, so it was sad that we've lost poor old George.
Right. Okay, I'm going to leave.
Shalom, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Gwendolyn.
Bye, everybody. Gwendolyn, it was lovely as always.
Bye.
Thank
Shabbat
you.
shalom.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Nice to
Don't
see
worry.
you all.
I'm just politely, Gwendolyn, but rest your voice.
Wish you better, Lindsay.
Thank you. I wish you better too. I thought you did amazingly if you were recovering from a cold.
Yes, it caught me a bit unawares, actually. I thought I was completely better, but it takes a while, doesn't it?
It does. It's been a rotten one this time, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are still colds around, amazingly.
Yeah. Anyway, let's all be healthy, all right?
Yes. Please God. And lovely seeing you, Barbara.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Bye,
me.
everybody.
You're
Nice
welcome
to see
anytime.
you.
Anyone's welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Rani, it's lovely that you can
Shabbat
participate
shalom.
all the way from France.
That's good. So I'm sorry to do this. I'm gonna Shabbat shalom. It's good to see you, Rania, as always, at our services.
Hi,
And you were
Rania.
able to follow it from whatever means that you had. Was it the French prayer book?
Today it was the French one because I'm cat sitting today. I've got 2 Chinese cats with me today. So I don't have my English Siddur.
Yeah.
Right, bye everybody.
Right.
Good night,
Alan, I'll
Tom.
let you know because I'm going to be at the Hive today just to see what's going on and try and help out. If there's anything you need to know regarding.
Oh, okay, no, they've given this was done over the phone, and my appointment is I think 11:35 tomorrow morning. And strangely enough, Pat and Paul, because they go to the same surgery that we do in Pinner, their appointment for both of them is I think about 11:45 or something.
Oh well, good luck. Well, my mother-in-law's 87 and she still hasn't been called up for it. So, but anyway,
It has been.
hasn't.
Right.
But our GP's in Barnet and it's not very good, so I've got to chase that up. Anyway,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
good luck with hopefully that will be helpful.
Yeah. Oh, well, I might see you there, or at least no, you won't be there.
Well, I'm going to be there today, just for a little bit, not all day, but I've
Okay.
got a friend who's going there with her very sick husband, and I thought I'd just help to see what's going on. That's all.
Right. Okay. Then, so you're not going down to Dorking.
No, I'm not going to any football matches.
Okay. All right. Bye then. Bye. Bye, Rania. Bye. Shabbat shalom.
Bye-bye, Alan.
Bye.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bye. I just said to you quickly, Rania. Yesterday was a funny day. That's I definitely couldn't speak to you because I was at they're playing my football and having some drinks, and they're doing the vaccines in the football stadium, which is good.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I was just relaxing, having a drink with wine, and there's these old people wandering around. So where am I? Where do I go for the vaccines? And there was somebody who was really in a lot of pain, and it's because it's a big area. So I found myself trying to direct people to the vaccine area, but I didn't even know where it was, and then it was really bad. So a friend of mine's going there today, so I'm going to go with her and her husband, and I'm also going to sort of see whether they can sort it out. It's really, really poor.
That's only for seniors.
Seniors, yeah. I was hoping I'd get it quick being a carer, but it doesn't matter. It's the older you are, the higher up. But it depends. Like Alan, like Mum's 87 and she still hasn't been done. But Alan's 80. But it depends what area you're in and what your doctor is.
But she will get it soon, I'm sure.
Hopefully, and that will make us feel like when we have carers and we have a carer in, it's very frightening. But anyway, so I thought I'd share that. I'm gonna go now because I've got to go to have my lunch, and then I'm going for a walk, and then I'm going to the football ground to find out what's happening with all the
full day today. That's good. That's good.
I didn't have much planned, but that's me. So I hope you enjoyed the service.
I did, as usual.
Yeah.
Good.
It always panicked Gwendolyn turning up 2 minutes before the start. I was really panicking.
Yeah, but
I find that
everything went well, so that's good. That's good.
Okay.
So
take care. We'll speak in a week. All being well.
Okay, my friend. Okay. Thank you so much for everything. You take care.
And
have a lovely weekend.
And you.
Shabbat shalom.
Hello to the cats.
You.
Bye.
Yes, I will. Bye.
Bye. Say goodbye, Mum.
Bye.
Mum's in the background.
Bye-bye, Mummy. Bye-bye, my darling Mabel. Bye.
Lovely.
Okay.
Lovely to hear. Did you hear that?